Coming up this week on Beyond the Vibe podcast, we're joined by Gill Montgomery of the Hot Damn.
I remember hearing All Along the Watchtower, the Jimi Hendrix thing. It was in a soundtrack in a film, and I was just like, what is that? And I'm thinking that's like a different world. More like the Amaret. I mean, we got really close to being where we wanted to be. Yeah. I think during the most miserable time, we just sort of thought, let's just do this the fun way, I think with previous bands and stuff like the Amorettes and Tequila, we were all quite serious and just quite moody pictures, black, and it just was kind of like, we're kind of bored of that. Let's just sack it off and just make something fun. And I think the vibe just kind of came with that, I think.
Vibe, the show that cuts deep into the world of music.
My name is Aaron Day, lead guitarist of UK band These Wicked Rivers, and I'm here with music videographer and photographer. It's Mr. Ryan Vasey.
It is. You're sounding more gravelly this week than
I'm not very well.
Weeks.
I'm alright. I ain't got the have you heard about it? The disease, the thing that thou shalt not be named. I ain't got that.
No.
I've had more tests than probably most people in this country. I'm sick of sticking stuff down my throat. Anyway,
yes.
Moving on. In car parks as well.
Of course.
Yeah. I went to do a test and it was in a car park. And I said to my dad, I've just stuck something down my throat in a car park.
And he was like, don't want to know, mate.
Don't want to know, mate. What you do in your own time is up to you. But no, I'm okay, viewers. Don't be concerned about your lovely Aaron. I'm all right. I'm a big, strong boy. I've been in bed watching football documentaries and music documentaries. They're the two main things. Anything that gets me romantic. I love anything 70s music documentaries. Like I watched the Skinner one, man. I was just obsessed with the time and the era, and it was this sense of romance that even that modern bands doesn't really have. Like I think it's just because there's so much. It, yeah, it's just that's it. I mean, it'd be interesting in 20 years' time when we look back and see sort of like this period where we look back on it and think about it as a movement, with a new wave of classic rock. And speaking of,
you stole my moment. I was about to go. And speaking of,
thank you. It's Aaron 1, Ryan 0. Thank you very much.
Stole my segue.
He'll edit it. He'll have him in his bedroom going. Speaking of, like very poorly edited.
Clothes, everything.
You can do it again if you want. I don't mind.
No, good.
You've stolen it away from me. Yeah. Don't try and give it me back, you pig. But I'll never get a segue, and you love a Clarkson segue, so
exactly.
I had to take it by the things. But yeah, speaking of new classic rock, a movement, we're about a week and a few days off the release.
Yes, 23rd of July.
Very good.
Right round the corner at this point.
Who we had off it? We've had Scam.
Yes.
Steve Scam. We've had Duskoda. We've had
Angelo Tristan.
Very good. Have we had anyone from the Hot Damn? We've had Josie.
Oh, we've had two.
We've had two.
The first band where we've had two members.
It is big emotion.
Yeah. It's a big moment.
I'm emotional. As you can tell.
I stand corrected. Glorious. We've had James.
I'll put the fucking shampoos away then.
Pack it away.
That'll be warm. It'll be warm now.
I completely forgot about that for a moment. But yes, obviously Hot Damn are on the compilation.
They are
as
indeed.
Well as yourself.
Yes. Well, yeah. Very happy to be on it, and I think it's been cool because we've it's been into the build up. We've had a lot of new wave classic rock bands, and as we said, we're very pleased this week to have Gill from the Hot Damn. They're interesting sound with the Hot Damn. We discussed it with you in the interview. It's like a fun type of music, very similar to Wagons, Massive Wagons.
Yeah, in terms of like it feels upbeat. It feels
happy, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's the right time to have that, isn't it? Because it's been like a really tough time for a lot of people, and I think this is why the new single is Dance Around has just like skyrocketed.
Yeah, big time. Quickly. Playlisted on Planet Rock already. Yeah.
Like already on Planet Rock's list, and it's I think it is that, because it's that feel good vibe, and people want that feel good vibe again as the world is going to open up again. And I think bands like them and Massive Wagons, and I think you're going to see some more come through that will follow that same kind of wave. It's interesting, isn't it? Like, we spoke about it, but they've gone with the whole like multicolored thing,
a lot of tie-dye.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's sick, because I think it's cool. I like the way that you see this obviously in the interview, that Gill kind of said that they've been in bands where everything's very serious and very dark and gloomy, like obviously in Rivers, where I'd struggle being in that sort of band from a writing perspective, but would I after if Rivers sadly bit the dust, or and if Dan died in a bizarre gardening accident, and Rivers, were no more, maybe I'd want that. I imagine it's really fun for Gill and the guys, to be able to have that expression where it's just nothing but positivity, and I'm sure within that they'll explore different themes as the band grows and the music varies. But for now, it's nothing but good vibes, tie-dye and glitter curtains.
And you can hear all about that now.
So we're here with Gill Montgomery of the Hot Damn. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Hello. Good to be here. Thanks.
Fantastic. Why are you laughing at my introduction? Is it because I did a very high-pitched mate?
Possibly, yeah.
I stumbled on
a different one.
Yeah, I stumbled on my words and realised I cocked up and just decided to go for it.
It felt like you'd committed at that point.
I committed. I think it went well.
I appreciated it.
No, thanks, Sil. That's what I mean. That's what it's about.
I know you're lying when you go up, so
No, that's it. Sorry about that. Well, we're really glad to have you here.
Yeah. So something we like to do is go back to the origins of a musician. So when was the first time you remember hearing music and thinking, like, this is what I want to do? Was there a moment?
What I want to do? I remember, I think it was, oh gosh, I remember hearing All Along the Watchtower, the Jimi Hendrix thing. It was in a soundtrack in a film, and I was just like, what was that? And I'm thinking, that's like a different world. That's a completely different to anything that I know. And so that was the moment I started to pursue alternative, music and things like that, and thought about picking up the guitar. And I think playing guitar, it was a Cheap Trick song that I just was like, I want to learn this. I want to be able to play this on guitar. I want to do that. I was the singer in the band at school, and it was just boring. I didn't want to just stand there really awkwardly, 13-year-old. Just that for me was the moment of bing, light bulb, and this is cool. Yeah.
Do you spoke about like the Jimi Hendrix thing and All Along the Watchtower, and I love the way you put it in terms of it almost being like another world. That was a big thing for me, is that I felt it was almost like it was a bit untouchable in some ways, and I don't know, it gave it this kind of mystique that I was really intrigued by, even being brought up by it, and I just loved all of that. I mean, what were the bands were you doing? Were you covering them sort of songs when you was in them young bands, or was it all kind of the music around the time? Like, what were you being led to kind of around that age?
It was strange. I think that was the song that kind of led me into, first and foremost, I got into 60s music. Like, I was the kid at school with the bell bottoms and the Afghan coat and the long hair, listening to like the Kinks and like Marianne Faithfull and like all these weird stuff, when people are like Boyzone, Britney Spears. So I guess I was starting to learn that kind of thing. Like the Kinks stuff on guitar and getting into Zeppelin, that was like a huge thing for me. I was struggling to find sort of alternative people that were kind of into that sort of thing. I felt like a bit of an outsider, a bit strange. Didn't really know anyone, because kids of that age are just sort of, mostly the mainstream. But I just loved everything about that kind of that era. And I remember actually being so upset and devastated that we were no longer living in the 60s. Like, that was a huge thing for me. That depression of just like, oh, it's over. Oh, like, yeah. I remember crying when I found out that John Bonham had died like 20 years before, you know.
I imagine you sat in classrooms and everything's fine, and then you just finding out and just bursting into tears, and you trying to tell all these people that it's a bloke that died in 1980, and you're just, and nobody's really understanding. I imagine that was quite traumatic growing up, and I mean, you had so many deaths to have to go through again, you know.
Yeah, just sort of you finally get into something. It's like, oh, they're dead.
Oh, you're gone.
Trauma.
We tried to turn that into the positivity. Obviously, a lot of people will know you for the Hot Damn. So the band came together in the middle of a pandemic. This must have had its challenges. How did you guys kind of combat these challenges to begin forming the sound of the band? Like, what was the initial discussions around, like, influences and where you wanted to go?
I mean, it was hard because, you know, we couldn't basically get into a room together for the first sort of 6 months. So it was all kind of virtual and online, and I guess we kind of just started to throw things into a Dropbox file, you know, like things that we've all written, just wanted to listen to each other, what kind of vibes people were having, you know, tell me about the song, who influenced you to write this, which was quite a challenge because everybody in the band is so different and has so many different influences, but I think it's quite good. It's quite hard, but it's quite a good thing to sort of have that variety. Hard when you're the main songwriter because you want to please everyone, sort of drawing in like little vibes here and there. But I think at the end of the day, I just sacked them all off and wrote my own stuff. So no, it was good. I think we all kind of came up with the sort of maybe 10 main acts that we all really liked and thought this was great.
Cool.
And so it just went from there. We tried to sort of write online, but it was really hard. It just wasn't working for us. So we eventually got into a room together and sort of just kind of had a jam and just sort of, you know, took it from there, recorded everything, and it's hard, and it still is hard because we only see each other, you know, once every 2-3 months at the moment because it's still ongoing, and obviously, and we live so far away from each other. I'm up in Scotland, and they're all down in London, so it's quite tough, but we're working it out as we go, like everything when you start a band during a pandemic. Yeah, wouldn't recommend it. But
I'm about to say it's hard enough starting a band like without a pandemic, you know, trying to work out everyone's different styles and where you want to be, and normally that takes like multiple practices, more, you know, some practices that are shit, some practices are good, whereas you guys have kind of, that time you've got together, I imagine there's almost like a, particularly for yourself, Jill, as the kind of the person trying to bring it all together, there's a bit of pressure there, isn't there, to kind of get something out of it. So I'm really pleased that it comes across anyway, like you've really kind of pulled something good out of it and you've got that sound and identity from it.
Yeah, I think during the most miserable time, if we just sort of thought, let's just do it this the fun way, you know. I think with previous bands and stuff like the Amorettes and Tequila, we were all quite serious and just quite moody pictures, black, and it just was kind of like, we're kind of a little bit bored of that. Let's just sack it off and just make something fun. And I think the vibe just kind of came with that. I think lockdown boredom had a lot to kind of do with that. We were just like, let's just have the most fun possible we can possibly ever have. Yeah, but now everything's tie-dyed.
One extreme to another.
Multicolored, and yeah, which was quite organic, but Yeah, it's a long process.
I can imagine.
So the debut single and Dance Around came out July 2nd. When it comes to picking this as your kind of first stamp on the rock world, were there any other contenders, or does Dance Around like perfectly encapsulate who you are as a band at this point?
I think it was maybe the sort of third or fourth song that we'd sort of written. I wasn't keen on it. I actually put it in a folder of like, I called them wet pancakes, because the first one doesn't turn out right, and you just bleh. But you try again and try again. But I think that the girls, they really liked that. They really vibed it, and they thought, no, let's work on this. Let's go with this. And I'm glad they did, actually. It's just quite a kind of uplifting song. I think it was the favourite. It was the front runner, definitely from the start. I don't know. It just came together so quickly. We just picked it and thought, this is it. Let's go with it. Let's go with it. And kind of everything else just got shoved to the back of the pile. So now that it's out, we're kind of like, oh, shit, gotta get some more together, Plan B, yeah. But no, it's certainly my favourite of our releases so far.
Good answer. I mean, you mentioned the tie-dye. Now, obviously, as Josie's Rivers gaffer, I'm aware of the tie-dye addiction, the rehab, the relapses, it's all been in the papers, we're aware of it. This obviously spilled over into the video, but I think this encapsulates the vibe of the band perfectly. You said it was about having fun, it's about bringing a bit of joy to people, at a shit time, and I think that comes across really well. What went into the making of the video? Like, how many times did you have to wash your hair, change your clothes and all that shit? Like, it looked like it was as much fun as the song is, which I think is really cool.
It was. I think, Josie was desperate to do this paint idea. She was pushing this before we even had a song. Like,
it's the only reason she formed the band. It's the only reason she wanted to be in the band.
I just want to have a video where there's paint on my drums and it looks really good. Right, okay. So everything revolved around this, but I think we all thought it was going to be a lot more messy, but they actually decided to use powder paint because trying to find a white room during a pandemic that would let us repaint, and it was such a nightmare, but it was quite fun. I guess we had a lot to do with the extra bits and pieces, like the glitter curtain thing. That was kind of my idea, but I got to keep it as well. We had the inflatable thing. It was. I guess nobody really thought, what are we going to do? What's the vibe when we get there? We just had to sort of improvise with this inflatable banana. It was so right, go. And we're all like, okay, run on, do a bit, and then run away. It was a lot of fun, actually. It was horrifically put you on the spot, but it was it was good fun, yeah. And the paint thing at the end, that was a lot of fun. I was terrible at throwing the paint, but we had gaffers and stuff, like they were just chucking it and slow. It was good. It was good fun, actually. It was a good day. We did it all in one day, which was down in Liverpool. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot of fun. I think it comes across really well, and like I said, it encapsulates the vibe of the band. So I think you did a good job.
Now, a lot of people will know you for your previous time with the Amorettes. In terms of that writing and recording process, how does it differ from that time and compared to now with Hot Damn?
I think with the Amorettes, the other girls had their hand. They weren't really involved with the writing process. It wasn't really their thing, which was fine, because I didn't mind doing the writing. Just means I got to, pull rag pick the set list most of the time, but which was fine. They weren't really that bothered. But now it's kind of quite hard because you're having to please a lot more people and 4 different girls. They're all quite strong-minded, might I add. It can get quite just confusing and but I think it's so much better when there is so much more input, because you can bounce things off each other so much quicker. You can just sort of write something, live with it, and then chat about it later. And I think, having those discussions, I think it makes you a better musician. It makes you sort of question why would we put a stop in here? Why would we change that chord? Or it makes you think about it so much more. And I think I've learned more in like the last year than I have probably in the last 5, just because I've just been doing it on my own. And it's been good. I'm really quite into it. It's hard because you've got to please people, but it's
I like the positive spin on it, because I think if when it's easy, it's a nice ride, but at the same time, I think it's meant to be difficult. You're meant to challenge yourself, because I think like when you was on about the initial writing process, when you was putting the sound of the band together, it's just getting to that breakthrough, isn't it? And sometimes it can be a longer journey to that breakthrough, but once you've smashed through it and you all feel that like, the song's starting to form, I think it's a really good feeling. And I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think if it's a longer journey to get to that breakthrough, it just means that the rewards will be greater when you get to the end of it, and it's cool that you can reflect positively on that and hope it's developed you as a songwriter.
Definitely. No, it's more like achievable, like with a group. It's quite, pats on the backs of guys, it's like team,
No, that's cool. We chat a lot on the show, Gill, with people about like that's their character on stage. Because I always feel that when I go on stage, I'm someone different, and I go into this different thing that I want to kind of express. And a lot of the times, people don't really plan what character they become until they get on stage and they get into that moment. When it was yourself, whether it be with Amorettes, obviously now with the Hot Damn, what do you think came into forming your character? Like, was there any particular musicians that you took inspiration from? Particularly as not just being that person at the front of the band, but also playing guitar as well as singing. Was there anybody that particularly inspired you?
I think just loud women. I think. Joan Jett, obviously. Who doesn't like Joan Jett? But I think there wasn't anyone particular sort of. I had singers and I had guitarists, but front people, that was quite a few and far between, I think. I really admired Jodie from Rock Goddess. She actually was just one of the people that was similar vibe, very, very sort of heavy stuff and lead, 3-piece lead guitar and vocals. She was female, was one of the people that I could relate to in that kind of sense. And it's so weird years later that we've become like friends. It's quite that's just nuts and mind blowing. But I think there's obviously singers with character and guitarists that but doing that at the same time, I think is hard. So people like Jodie, Joan Jett, mostly females, because guys have a different. You can take things from that, bows and stuff, but it's a different vibe, I think.
Different connection, isn't it? Like you say with the Rock Goddesses thing, it's something that you can easily relate to that and be inspired by it, and that doesn't mean you can't be inspired by the male counterpart. It's just it's that connection, isn't it, and that inspiration that's much more there for you. That's cool. It's cool that you've become friends with her as well. I like that.
Just nuts. We just crossed paths. She came at one of our shows in London. I thought I was going to vomit.
Did you vomit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Maybe after a few drinks, but no.
Now we like to kind of throw some weird questions at artists. So with that in mind, what the Hot Damn release like next year? Like if you were told to come up with like another genre, like it can't be what you're currently doing, what would that genre be, and what would you call the album?
Could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. Like the gloves are off.
Could be Russian folk, sonic jazz. Whatever you think could piss Josie off the most. is a shout. Not to put ideas in your head.
I mean, has there ever been like another genre that you maybe would like to explore, or something like that? I mean, obviously we've seen the Foo Fighters recently do the
Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees.
Oh wow! I mean, I think like glitter metal would be quite cool.
I mean, that's a whole new genre in itself. You know? I mean, that's exciting.
That sounds just mixing the rainbow with the heavy.
Yeah. You've already got a slogan as well.
Oh, I'm into that.
Glitter metal. What would you call the album though? Hot Damn. First thing on the glitter metal roster. What's the album going to be called?
God. Yeah.
It's a tough question.
No, I think we're in a spot now. No, inspiration.
Hell is found behind the glitter curtain. Something along them sort of lines.
Hell sparkle. I don't know.
Hell Sparkle. I'm a big fan of Hell Sparkle because it's absolute bollocks. So we'll happily go with that. I mean, I'm a big fan of glitter metal. I mean, I was chatting to Josie about the Hot Damn's kind of like sound, and I love the way she kind of came at it, because Sam, our bass player, was saying, it's got this kind of like early 2000s sort of movie soundtrack thing that's really positive. And Josie kind of said, people have said it sounds a bit like this, sounds like this. Maybe it's just like 2020. It doesn't need to be 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Maybe it can just be now, And I quite like that construct. It's kind of like with glitter metal. It's kind of not really happened yet. Maybe that's what people need.
That is what people need.
Yeah, and I quite like that.
I'll pitch it to her.
Pitch it to her, report back, and we can do like a glitter metal special. We'll work something out. But yeah. Where do you see the band sort of? Obviously, you're in this initial origins. Just released the new single, which has had awesome reception. Obviously, just got on the Planet Rock playlist as well, which is badass. Yeah, which is really cool. Where do you see the band in sort of like 10 years' time? Where would you want the band to be, Jill? Like,
I think beyond the glitter metal, just doing like more like the Amaret. I mean, we got really close to being where we wanted to be, and it's kind of starting a new band. You're sort of you drop a bit back down, but we were just starting to sort of Europe, and it was getting really exciting. But I'd love to be back doing these kind of bigger shows and just getting out there as much as possible. I think doing the bigger festivals in Europe, those are that's the goal. But hopefully we get to fast track, because we've been hanging around the scene for a long time. So fingers crossed.
With pests. But it feels like that. Like I say, because of the reaction of the single and like you say, that ground you've made up. I mean, where can people see you? What gigs have you got coming up for people who want to check out the band?
Well, I think like most people, we were kind of, you're lucky to get something now. Everything's just booking up. But we're doing a couple of gigs next month, actually. We had one sort of booked. It's now been moved back to Wolverhampton. I can't remember.
It's all right. Don't mean to put you on the spot. You've got one with us, boys.
We do.
Yeah, we're playing in Blackpool. Fuck knows when, but I think it's next month.
Oh yes, the 6th of August.
Yeah, I never played the Waterloo, so I'm looking forward to that. It's the Waterloo, isn't it?
It's a great venue. It's a great venue. Yeah, I think that's right in the middle of Rebellion Fest as well. Somebody which will be interesting.
Yeah.
We've also got Stone Dead at the end of the month, and the next month. The party, the after show, before the show party, I think, Friday night. We're rocking opening the stage Friday night.
Fantastic.
And we're on, and we're on tour with the Dust Coda as well.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. We've had John on the show. Yeah, we're big fans of Dust Coda. I think that album they brought out is awesome. So I think that'd be a great. And it's cool that you guys have been able to get on a tour like that, sort of quite quickly off the momentum of the single as well. Because I think that would be a great way for people to come out and see you. Yeah, because Dust Coda definitely there's that kind of crossover there. Yeah. So I think that'd be really cool. Yeah,
it's amazing. Cool. Not even doing a gig and having a tour.
Like I say, you've paid your dues, haven't you? You know what I mean? You've all grafted.
They know we're good for it.
Yeah, you'll be all right. You've got the stamp of approval. You'll be fine. No, cool. I'm sure people will definitely come out for them, and we're looking forward to playing with you in Blackpool. It'll be cool.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Cool. And when we spoke a little bit about sort of the single coming out, that progression around like, right, this is done now, back to the floppy pancakes, and trying to rebuild for that next stage of the band. Like, when can people expect new music from you, do you reckon?
I mean, the plan is to do, hopefully, an album next year.
Cool.
But I might be talking too soon or telling too many secrets, or I don't know. Josie's put me in charge of socials now, so I'm just gonna. All the cats are out the bag and So anyway, hopefully next year.
Cool.
I think we're gonna do another single before then. We just have to find another pancake that's worthy. In the meantime, so.
No, that's one. It's cool that people can look forward to a collection of pancakes coming out at some point next year.
Yeah, everybody loves a pancake.
Yeah, man, pancakes are sick. No, that's cool.
One thing that we'd like to kind of finish the show on is it's a bit of a hypothetical question. So if you could tour with one band from the past and one band from the present, who would they be?
Ooh.
I feel like we've put you on the spot a lot on this, Joe. I feel like we've been cruel, man. I can only apologise.
The pressure of an interesting answer. I'm sweating. Huh?
A lot of people struggle with this one.
Yeah, there's no pressure. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I would always say sweet, like.
I mean, you can say sweet, be a lovely follow-on. Yeah, so don't mind.
I'm a huge fan. I have one of Andy Scott's plectrums actually. We share a guitar tech. Phil, hi if you're watching. But he brought me one of Andy's guitar plectrums. No, probably something glam. I think something like The Sweet or like Alex Harvey Band or I don't know. It's just one of those blast from the past 70s bands that were just ace, big shoes.
Yeah.
Years, Nowadays, I'm not sure. Have you heard of a band called Royal Republic?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are wicked. Laurie's already toured with them, but as a collective group, it would be nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like it because it's a much more varied answer than we normally get. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. So we have an Opdam opening, and then Royal Republic in the middle, and then we're having Sweet headlining.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Sweet, and then we'll rotate it with the Alex Harvey Band. See how we. Yeah, Alex Harvey can play Swansea. We'll work it out. We'll have a chat with everyone involved, and we'll put it together, and we'll get back to you. But no, thank you ever so much for your time. Yeah, we really appreciate it. For people that haven't checked out the Hot Damn's new single, Dance Around, make sure you check it out now. It's on the rotation for Planet Rock, so if you listen to that, you'll sure have it in your ear holes at some point. And then obviously you're out on the road soon for your first shows. Are you nervous? How do you feel about it?
Shitting at me. I mean, I don't. What kind of 500 days since we've done a show? I don't even know. I I joined a gym. I need to get in shape. This is terrifying.
That was my biggest fear. We played our first gig back at a sit-down one in Derby, and fucking I nearly had cardiac. Like, it was fucking shit. Really, really bad. I'm the same as you. I bought these massive boots, and I was dead. I felt like Bobby Dazzler, and I thought, yeah, I got big heel on, and then I fucking literally came off, and I was like a pissed-up stepmom at a wedding. Tried to get in a taxi and be sent home. But you do good. I mean, you've done the live streams, haven't you? How did you find that in comparison to the proper gig?
That was a tough one. We ended up getting a little bit drunk. We basically the lockdown news happened like the hour before we were starting to film. So we were particularly upset. We went to Tesco and just bought some beer and just sat in silence with a downer because we had to all isolate for Christmas. So it was just
shit,
rubbish. But it went fine. I think it went better than usual.
That's good. No, you do find me go back gigging. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks ever so much for your time, Joe. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's cool.
And we'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you.
And that was Gill from the Hot Dam. I know I say this as a segue after every interview, but I enjoyed that, Ryan. But I did. You know, I've never met Gill. I was very much aware of the Amorettes, and obviously Mama Josie is the gaffer for These Wicked Rivers. She manages as the drummer. And so we talk a lot about the band and the singles and stuff, and I really like the way she came across and the way she kind of articulated the band and where they are and what they've got planned to do next. It was interesting. I love the glitter curtain.
Yes. The glitter curtain has stuck.
It has. It's stuck. I mean, you'd keep it, wouldn't you? I mean, I think you're missing a glitter curtain, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than cream, isn't it? I do hasten to add to the audience that this colour choice isn't my choice.
It is his choice.
Just to make it 100% clear.
He loves it. He loves it. Is his choice, definitely. But yeah, I was really impressed with Jill's kind of musical interest. Like, I love that from a young age she was dropping these sort of bands from the 60s, you know. And then she mentioned in terms of glam rock, like the Alex Harvey band and stuff. I love that because it shows that she's got that in-depth, not just knowledge but love for music, you know. And I think for her to be able to now kind of utilise some of that glam rock education, you know, with the Hot Dam, I'm sure it's very healthy for her to be channeling that, you know. And it's cool because it's something that we're big fans of the retro thing, aren't we? And I think it's cool for it to come in this kind of fun new sound that we spoke about before the interview, you know. And I think it's a good platform for band. I'm interested to see how they grow. Yes. What's next? You know, obviously Gill mentioned about, you know, maybe an album next year. To hear a full kind of representation of the band in an album format, I think would be really cool. Because then, you know, can you have that sound all the way through? You know, will they have different shades of it? Will they have a few, you know, maybe a few darker songs? Because, you know, when you have the darker songs, it makes the lighter songs even more lighter.
Well, this is the interesting thing, I think, about having a band on that's very early in their process, because you can see that like when we asked a few questions, you can see in her head that's like she's still kind of figuring it out. She's still thinking like, well, what are we going to be? Yeah. Where are we going to go?
Whereas when we've spoken to musicians that have obviously been in bands for several years, like Lips, you know, and the experienced guys, they know who they are, they know the journey up to that point, and yeah, Jill's they've still got it all to play out, you know. I like that, you know. I like the fact that she didn't try and set out the stall. It was very honest and very, very real, you know. And I think that's a good representation of herself in the band. So yeah, looking forward to more things from the Hot Dam, definitely.
Yes, so that is it for this week on Beyond the Vibe. But if you like what we're doing, you can subscribe, of course, to keep up to date with everything. We have like top 10s, we have obviously the podcast that we do, and you know, we might do other things in the future as well.
Definitely.
And if you want to find out what guest we have on the podcast every week, you can like our Facebook page, and from 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. We will release a teaser trailer revealing our guest.
We will indeed. Do you like my dramatic echo? I've done it for ages, you know, and I think that's the first time you've ever reacted to it. I'm always gazing at Mr. Vasey, and I've really gone, on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday. on a Wednesday. But Mr. Racy is very, very correct. And if you subscribe, it means you support the vibe and lets us keep doing what we're doing. It makes us lets us know that you're enjoying it and keeps our motivation and focus strong to keep bringing you great guests every Saturday. So make sure you subscribe and join the vibe. We're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But if you're here, you get to look at Ryan's beige curtain.
Of course. That's what people come for.
That's what they come for.
Yeah.
And you've delivered the product, which is the most important thing. But thank you for watching. We love you all, and we'll see you soon on the Vibe train again.
Yes. See you next week.